Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 3X Value Growth Podcast. My name is Carrie Sauls. I'm a value growth advisor to the middle market and author of the bestseller, Multiply Your Business Value in 3 Steps. I always come to you from New Hampshire, and therefore I bring you a bit of New Hampshire trivia for each episode. And today my trivia is about Cannon Mountain. Cannon Mountain is in Franconia Notch in the northwest part of New Hampshire. What I want you to know is that the Cannon Mountain Aerial Tramway is the first aerial passenger tramway in North America, and it was built in 1938. Who knew? Today, I am...
They even have electricity back then.
Wise guy.
I've got a piece of trivia for you.
Okay.
New Hampshire, an anagram of New Hampshire is Northwest Empire.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
That's all I know about New Hampshire. I'm sorry.
I like it. No, I'll have to use that one as well.
Okay.
Thank you. As you can see, I am joined today by Clinton Lee. Welcome again, Clinton. Where are you calling in from?
I'm in the UK.
You're in the UK.
I'm from London, yeah.
Across the pond from us. Well, I'm glad you're here. I know Clinton.
Brilliant to be here. So like I said earlier, thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's absolutely a pleasure to have you. But for those who don't know who you are, I'd like to read a little bit about your background because I think they really should know what you bring to the table.
Okay.
After spending 35 years building, buying, and selling businesses, Clinton Lee now advises owners of UK businesses who want to extract the value that they've locked up in their business. I think that is so perfect. And therefore, you said that our topic for today is, it ain't all about that EBITDA. I love that because you're right. It's not just about the EBITDA. So for our 7-question interview, are you ready?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Question number 1, Clinton. Mm-hmm. Who's your ideal client?
My ideal client is a UK-based business, an established business with turnover of at least £5 million, and a business where the owners are considering the exit. It could be any form of exit. It could be a straight business disposal. It could be an IPO. It could be a merger. It could be a management buyout, but any equity event, and they need guidance in finding the right partners to take them to market.
Perfect. So, and I think you just led into my second question. Mm-hmm. What problem are you going to solve for these established businesses?
The problem is finding the right partner. Now, there are, the UK is a small market, not as big as the US, but we've got over 1,000 firms who provide advisory services, transaction advisory services, or basically a business brokerage service of taking a business to market, finding a buyer, selling the business. And these firms go by various names. They are called transaction advisors, M&A boutiques, private investment banks, whatever. But there's no single source of data on them. So I maintain the UK's largest database, the only database of people in this industry. The sector specializations, the size of business they take on, their fees and fee structures, their terms and conditions, their special expertise, who's registered with the competition authority in the UK, and things like that. And then I take my clients through a process of narrowing down from the 1,000-odd firms to about 30 and down to about 6. And then they meet with those firms, interview them, I assist them through the interviews, and then I negotiate the terms for them and settle them in with the broker. So basically, it's a process that takes about a month to 2 months, not a full-time work, but a month to 2 months. But it results in the clients finding somebody who is really best suited to helping them extract maximum value from their business.
That's invaluable right there. I think you've also partly answered my third question already. What do you see are the typical symptoms that owners are experiencing or that they talk about when they finally decide to come to you?
Well, often they've decided to take the business to market, and they've gone and done some research in, of course, Google. Just like you do when you have any medical complaint. You don't go to a doctor, you go to Dr. Google, don't you? So they go to Google and they find the firms that they find there are the firms that have paid the most in SEO, or the firms that are paying the highest in click prices to Google Ads. So they don't find necessarily the firms that are best placed for them. They don't find the firms with the best reputation. They don't find the firms that are best suited to taking their specific business to market. And then they look at these firms and they talk to a few of them. And we're talking lower mid-market here, above £5 million in turnover. And they talk to them and they realize that they have a retainer. None of these firms start with less than 30 to 50,000 pounds as a retainer. And so my clients look at these firms and think, hold on a second, if I'm going to be paying a huge amount, like 50,000 pounds, I really need to vet them. And I don't know how to vet these companies. I know how to hire somebody from my accounts department. I know how to hire IT equipment. I've never hired a broker to sell my business before. How can I tell the good ones from the bad ones? They're all smooth talkers. They all pitch a fantastic line. Wow, how do I tell who's the good guy?
Exactly. So in that line, you're feeding me into my next question, number 4. What do you see are the common mistakes that these owners are making when they try to go it alone, when they don't reach out to somebody like you, Clinton?
They end up signing on with a broker who doesn't actually do very much for them. So the broker would come visit them, take a bit of information, prepare an information memorandum, but the chance, as you probably know, 80% of the businesses that go to market don't actually sell. So very often these people end up with these brokers who don't sell their business. A couple of weeks ago, I did an analysis of the UK's largest broker firm. They're a public company, so a lot of information about them is available from their stock market listings. And I went through their accounts, and I went through what percentage of their fees they get from the retainer and what percentage of the fees they get from success. And from there, it was easy to work out because I know what their fees are, what they how much they charge per client. From there, it was easy to work out that 90% of the clients they take on don't actually find a buyer. So people are ending up with these mistakes of paying companies a huge amount of money, ending up wasting a lot of time, generally a year or so before they realize that this is not going anywhere. And of course, wasting a huge amount of money.
Wow, you just gave me goosebumps with how much pain we're causing to so many business owners because they don't have the right fit, because they're just not getting the service that they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
So with all of that in mind, what's one valuable free action that these owners could be taking right now on their own?
Oh, you're going to like this one. I advise them to start with an exit planner. Ideally, at least 2 or 3 years before they take their business to market. Funnily enough, I was talking to someone just now, literally an hour ago, who was telling me that he's made a lot of changes to his business. It's about a 10 million turnover business in the UK. And he's made a lot of changes in the business over the course of the last year to prepare it for market. And I was alarmed because some of the things he was telling me, I know for sure, are going to cause concerns with buyers. They're going to say, hold on a second, that's a major change. We want to see how that plays out before we proceed with the transaction. So yes, hire somebody at least 2 or 3 years before you go to market, and they can advise you on what you need to do, what attributes you need to build into the business to make it most attractive to buyers. But if that's too expensive, a cheaper option, and at least go for this. It's almost free. Spend $10 on Amazon and buy a good book on exit planning, because what you think that buyers want are not what buyers want at all. And what they actually do want, you probably haven't even considered yet.
That's absolutely true. Sellers need to turn around and put the buyer's hat on and learn what the buyers are looking for before they take those actions. I totally agree. Mm-hmm. So my 6th question is, from the plethora of information that you've put out there, what's one valuable free resource you can direct our audience to?
Well, I tell them to go to my website, but I do have a lot of information on my website. Over the years, I've been building articles on everything from how to find buyers to how to structure deals, including how to find a business broker. So if you're based in the US and you can't use my services because I don't assist US businesses, the articles on my website will maybe give you a steer as to what you should do to go about finding the right partner to take you to market. I do also post in LinkedIn a lot, so I would suggest that they follow my firm in LinkedIn. So, for example, I post tax tips, I post other tips about how to extract the best value from your business. And if they want to go to LinkedIn and follow the Exit Firm, then they would get notified by LinkedIn whenever I post something there.
So then my last question for you, Clinton, is what would be one question that I should have asked that I didn't, and what would be your answer?
How do you value a business?
And the answer?
Most people absolutely hate this answer I give them. And I tell them, don't value a business. Many business owners want to start with the value. They want to have a figure there. It makes them feel comfortable. It gives them some sort of reassurance. But I believe it's completely the wrong thing to do, because what you're coming up with is a theoretical number that buyers don't care about. Your efforts would be much better directed towards influencing the kind of things that buyers use to come to their value decisions. Because essentially that's what matters. What matters is how much the buyer thinks you're worth, not how much your valuer thinks you're worth or your accountant thinks you're worth. How much a buyer thinks. So you need to really be working on influencing buyer perceptions, but also getting the right kind of buyers, getting the strategic buyers in who are going to compete with other buyers on the transaction. You want to have somebody there, a good broker who will manage the whole process and build some competitive tension there. So it's about put your effort into finding the right buyers, into finding well-funded buyers, finding strategic buyers who are going to see more value in your business than other buyers are going to see. And then creating the conditions for them to open up their wallet and pay you the kind of money you'd like to see. Work on that rather than obsessing about how much your business is worth.
Perfect. What a powerful way to end this interview. Thank you so much, Clinton Lee, for joining me here on the 3X Value Growth Podcast.
Gary, my pleasure.
Thanks for checking out the 3X Value Growth Podcast. If you like what we're doing here, head over to iTunes and subscribe, leave us a review, or rate us. It's very much appreciated. And if you'd like to learn more about the 3X Value Growth model, go to www.3xvaluegrowth.com/model for the PDF.